How you doing, YouTube? This is Gonna Restart in 67, bringing you a new YouTube video. Today's YouTube video is going to be on 6 preps to have to stay warm during a dark winter scenario. Alright, if for anyone that doesn't know what the term dark winter means, I think it came about a little bit after the incident that transpired in Texas when their power grid failed in the end of January, beginning of February of 2021. Unfortunately, quite a few Americans did perish. I think it was north of over 50 people. And I do remember President Biden giving some type of national speech where he used the term dark winter. And basically, dark winter is just a term utilized for the power grid going down during the winter time. So these are the 6 preps at the very minimum that I think individuals need in order to get you through a dark winter scenario. First is layering of clothing. It's very basic. It's very simple. There's 3 layers involved in layering your clothing. The first is your base layer. Me personally, for a base layer, I love thermal underwear. Me being in the military for 21 years, I've said it many times before. I'm a retired Marine, and one of the things that I really grew to enjoy when I went out to the field or I conducted a real world operation was in a cold environment, was being able to utilize thermal underwear. That is my go-to base layer. Your second layer is your insulation layer. Your insulation layer is what's going to go ahead and trap that air between the insulation layer and your base layer and heat it up, and that's what really keeps you warm. I like to use wool pullover sweaters. Wool is an outstanding material. It will keep you warm even when it gets wet. You just have to make sure you take care of it. Preferably you hand wash it. You don't machine dry it. You go ahead and line dry it. That way you minimize wear and tear on the material. You keep it from shedding, and it lasts a lot longer. My last layer that you have is your outer layer. Again, old military cat, I love Gore-Tex as an outer layer. Your outer layer should provide you resistance from wind and rain. And to me, no other material that I've ever used does it better than Gore-Tex. I wear a camouflage Gore-Tex jacket as my outer layer, and it works out really, really well. If you're inside, you don't necessarily have to go ahead and utilize an outer layer. You can just wear an additional insulation layer, and that would complete your 3 layers of clothing. The next prep I think you need to have in order to survive a dark winter scenario is sleeping bags, blankets, or even electric blankets. I have all 3, but the one thing that I will go to all the time will be this 3-bag military system. Now it's kind of bulky, it's kind of big. I don't know if you can see that. It's actually pretty heavy. It weighs about 13 pounds in a compression sack. And basically what it is, it's 3 sleeping bags in one. Any military personnel that's been in the military during a time when they've went to the field or on a real world op in inclement weather will tell you that these bags are awesome. This sleeping bag system consists of 3 sleeping bags. Like I said before, there's a green sleeping bag, which is your summer sleeping bag. There's a black sleeping bag, which is considered your intermediate sleeping bag, which is good for fall and the beginning of winter. And then you have your outer bag, which is more of a bag liner. It's made of Gore-Tex. So again, just like your outer layers for your layering of clothing, it keeps the wind and the rain off of your other 2 bags. When you combine all 3 bags together, this bag, it can be easily slept in at temperatures below 20 degrees. So it's an outstanding sleeping bag. I've got one for myself and each member of my family. but they are not cheap. They're actually pretty expensive. So if you can't go ahead and put that type of money down on things like that, the next best thing you can do is blankets. Me personally, I love wool. I have numerous wool blankets, and they're pretty cheap. You can get them on Amazon, eBay, some stores. You can go ahead and get 100% military surplus wool blankets for anywhere between, I've seen them as in the mid-20s, and I've seen them as high as $80. And the only difference is the size usually, and then the weight of the clothing or the weight of the material. I've seen stuff as low as 320 grams all the way as high as 800 grams. So yes, if you can't afford a nice sleeping system, go ahead and get a sleeping bag. And to kind of supplement that, you can also go ahead and get electric blankets. I personally love electric blankets. I have at least one electric blanket per family member. So when you roll up into your sleeping bag, we go ahead and hook this up to a solar generator, battery bank, and we start off getting nice and warm, and then after a specific amount of time, we go ahead and turn it off, and now our bags stay nice and warm, and you're nice, warm, and cozy. And we'll get into the electric blanket more when we get into the power generation portion of this video. So yeah, sleeping bags, blankets, or electrical blankets. You need them. It's a very essential prep. Go get them if you don't have them. Prep number 3 to have to stay warm during a dark winter scenario is an alternate heating source. In my opinion, there is no better indoor heating source right now on the market as far as efficiency and safety features than your Mr. Heater Buddy Heater right here. This is capable of creating about 9,000 BTUs for a small room. So it utilizes these 1 pound propane canisters right here. Everybody that is an outdoorsman or a prepper, they know what those look like. They know what those are for. It takes one of them. It has 2 settings. It's got low and then high. You put it on low, these things will last for about 5 to 6 hours. You put it on high, they'll last anywhere between 2 to 3 hours. It just depends. Each Mr. Buddy Heater is a little bit different, so you just got to go ahead and experiment and see what your Mr. Buddy Heater goes ahead and does. They've got a smaller one that's a tiny one that just fits on the top of one of these propane tanks, and then they've got a bigger one that'll take 2 1 pound propane tanks. These are great. Also too though, with this, it has got a low oxygen sensor that if you have low oxygen in the room, it'll shut off. And then it also has a tip over device in it that if this thing gets tipped over, it'll automatically shut off. This is one of the reasons why I say this is the best indoor heater that you can buy. In addition to this though, if you invest in something like this, make sure you have a fire extinguisher on hand, make sure you have a smoke alarm, and make sure you have a carbon monoxide alarm just in case, because no piece of equipment is perfect. No piece of equipment always operates the way it's supposed to. So go ahead and be safe. All right. The 4th prep that I think you need to have during a dark winter scenario is a way to generate power. Whether that be a gasoline generator or whether it be a solar generator like with what you have right here with this Jackery Explorer 550, I have both. I'd utilize my gasoline generator to go ahead and power my my furnace. I do have it wired to my house. I have a switch that I can turn it on and off on the breaker box. And if the power goes out, I go out there, I flip the switch. Now my house is pulling energy power straight from my generator. I've got a Briggs & Stratton 5,750 watt generator, and it is capable of continuous wattage of 5,250 watts. So it can power anything in my house. I just got to be very selective of what I power at the same time, which is not a problem. During scenarios like that, just being able to have power is a blessing. Now, all of the other smaller things that I need, this Jackery Explorer 550 can go ahead and handle. Now, like I stated earlier, electric blankets are a really, really good thing to have. And this piece of gear right here is perfect for an electric blanket. So I go ahead and turn her on. I plug this electric blanket up like such. And then I go ahead and I turn the power all the way up. And now I don't know if you can see. Let's go ahead and illuminate the display. I got 56 watts going. Now, this solar generator is a 550 watt capability. So you just go ahead and divide it. 56 watts divided by 550. You got a little less than 10 hours. But with these solar generators, you got to go ahead and knock some of the percentage off of that, either a 10-15% deduction for it to be able to operate the system. So you got probably closer to 9 hours than 10 hours. But still, with a bunch of these electric blankets, these are perfect for heating up your sleeping bags, or if your hands are cold, wrapping your hands around them, or your feet, or anything like that. Electric blankets are awesome, and the solar generators, power banks are perfect for doing it. So let's go ahead and unplug this. Let's turn that portion off. So yes, having a solar generator system is definitely a prep that I think everyone needs to stay warm during a dark winter scenario. The number 5 prepping item that I think you need during a dark winter is a tent. Me personally, I've got this nice Coleman 4-person tent. I've had it for years. My daughter, my wife, we go camping as much as possible, probably about 2-3 times a year, sometimes even more than that. Sometimes my daughter's friends come over and they want something different, so I let them go camp in the backyard. They sit down there and make a fire, they roast marshmallows, all that other stuff, have s'mores. They have a good old time. So everyone in my family knows how to put these up. And the reason why I think a tent, of all things, is an important piece of gear to have during a dark winter scenario is it allows you to create what we call a microclimate. For those of you that don't know what a microclimate is, a microclimate is when you only have the resources to heat a small area, and you pick one room in your house, and you go ahead and take something like this Mr. Buddy heater, you put it in that room, and you just heat that room. And then you can become even more efficient with your heating by setting up a tent and condensing that space even further with a tent. I'd set that tent up. I'd go ahead and put one of my wool blankets over the top of it, and then go ahead and put the rain fly over that. And now you have an area that is that much more condensed, that much more able to get heated up quickly with the least amount of resources utilized. So if you're ever in that scenario, yes, buy a tent, utilize a tent for a microclimate. It'll definitely save your life, specifically if you're in a place that does get extremely cold, like in one of these northern states, Alaska, Washington State, Oregon, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Montana. Practices like that will definitely save your life during a dark winter scenario. And last but not least, your 6th prepping item that you need to have to stay warm during our dark winter scenario is an alternate cooking method. Now one of my alternate cooking methods is this 1 burner Coleman stove. As you can see, the top of it fits over a 1 pound propane tank. And then right here, it comes with a base. You put that under, it becomes stable. You put your pot of stew, or you put your pot of chili, or if you want to boil water, your water, if you're going to make tea, whatever. It allows you the ability to heat up or boil water. And some of you might be saying, well, why does cooking food give you the ability to stay warm? Well, I'll tell you. Being able to keep your food warm, heat it up, and then consuming it specifically right before you get into your sleeping bag or you get into your microclimate area, the act of digestion in itself creates heat. Your body naturally pumps out massive amounts of BTU. So one of the best ways to stay warm is to consume food before you go ahead and go to sleep. And the act of digestion raises your core temperature, and it will keep you warmer for longer, so you'll be that much more comfortable. So in it, of course, it fulfills one of the must-haves, which is consuming a food. So you've got to have a way to go ahead and heat up your food, or to heat up water or other beverages to consume to keep you warm. But those are the 6 preps that I think that you need in order to stay warm during a dark winter scenario. If you like this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, share it, and let me know what you liked, what you don't like, and go ahead down in the comments and tell me if I forgot anything, or just tell me what your major prepping items are to stay warm during a darker winter scenario. I'm very interested to hear from you. That's going to be it for me, and this is Gunner Restart in 67. I'm out.